この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Midweek Mushoku, the next edition, thanks to you for answering my question and my request. There were a couple of answers of people who came up with alliterative titles for Midweek Mushoku, Mushoku Miércoles. Some of them were good. Midweek Mushoku is my favorite right now, and I'll probably cycle it around with Mushoku Miércoles. They're both good. We went to magic school, and Sylphie's there. Oh boy. And it wasn't just like, we're going to magic school, getting introduced to stuff, there's this person over there, oh, that's weird, can I keep doing stuff? No, it was like, you, duel, now! Oh my god! Hey! Primary character, primary romantic interest, who's disguised as a boy, and in a totally different circumstance, has totally different hair color, glasses over her face, and can't be recognized by the other character ever. Get to know each other, become friends. You two, become friends. Now kiss. Yes! I'm excited for this. I'm excited even if this ends up being a slow burn, calm, like, high school romance. I'm still really excited for that, too. That sounds really good. It's the kind of thing that Earth Deist never got to do, right? He gets to do high school well as a person who can deal with other people and who can try. That's interesting and different, and it all goes a different direction in part because Fitz is there, because Sylphie is there, because it could have gone the exact same direction with the whole Goriade panties thing. It could have gone the exact same direction. I'm an outcast, introverted, Hikinito bullshit fuckboy who's gonna stay in his dorm forever. Fuck this. Everybody's bad. Right? Easy. Totally could happen. But no, he's got a friend who steps up for him and prevents it from going bad. So that's great. Everything's good. Magic School is great. The next episode is titled, I Don't Want to Die. What the fuck? What the fuck? How do we go from, hey, look, magic school, it's great. There are all these cool people. There's this cute cat girl who's related to the village that you know. There's this okay dog girl who knows her. There's this stupid idiot named Cliff who thinks he's a genius. There's a person with multiple arms. Don't know what's going to go on there. Aline Elise is here. Everything's great. What could possibly go? Oh no! Shini Takunai. Who's saying that line? Is it Mushoku? Is it Mushoku? Is it Rudy? Is it another character? What's our context? That's going to be really important because I think what I expect from this episode is the introduction of something. Because currently we have nothing. There's really nothing going on. We're at like a crossroad. I don't want to say turning point. Turning point's the wrong word because turning points are when things happen. We're at a point where everything is calm. All is well. Everything is set up. The stage is set. The chessboard is arranged. The pieces are on the table. It's ready to go. But there's nothing in tension right now. None of the pieces are directly under threat, right? Like, nobody's attacking anybody else completely yet. But there are all these little things that are little bits of hints. So let's talk about those. The biggest one that comes to my mind is Ariel, is the princess thing with Fitz and stuff. I see Rudy getting wrapped up or pulled into that. I see that as possible. We'll see. There is the romance element, which comes around to the friendship element. And I think that's probably going to be the majority of our episode, is time spent with Rudy and Fitz not knowing that Fitz is Sylphie, not having any romantic interest or engagement there, but just befriending a person at the school. And I think that's probably what we'll focus on here in this episode. That's what I would do if I were writing this story. I'd want to build that. I'd want to build that engagement and that connection between these characters who are reconnecting. Even if there's a falsehood inherent to it, even if there's a lied identity or a mask inherent to it, it doesn't matter. We still build that up, and it still means a lot to us, the audience. And then when it eventually leads to some kind of conflict, some kind of tension that involves both of them or causes them to split or whatever, then it has more weight to it because we've built up that relationship more. So I think that would be really good. I don't know what else is coming. I don't know what calamities the world might have in store for us, or what might attack us up here at a Magic Academy. As far as I can tell, kind of like being on Hogwarts grounds, we're probably in one of the safest places on the planet, on the six-sided world, for Rudy to be in right now. If somebody wants to hurt him or cause problems, coming in through the Magic Academy is going to be hard. But what if the dangers are in the academy? Either the administration and the faculty and people like that, or perhaps Nanahoshi in the basement studying weird sigils, or perhaps Cliff, genius, fucking something up and causing something similar to what Rudy caused with the calamity. I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going to go down here. I'm okay with this being a long arc of slow burn high school. I'm okay with that. Not a problem with me. But I don't think that would fit the flow of the story quite right. So I'm curious to see where we go. And I'm curious to see if we time skip again. Because it seems like you miss out on that character development between the two of them if you do this. But if you just set the stage and then you say, and it's sophomore year, and Rudy's a sophomore now, right? He's a year in. And he hasn't really found anything else out interesting that's like super interesting, but he's leveled up in his mage skills, and he's leveled up his knowledge in a bunch of ways, and he's become good friends with Fitz, and that's what we've got. And then from there, chaos, calamity, or maybe just finding a new piece of information, a lead on his mom, a lead on how the calamity happened, or the teleportation incident, something like that sparks things. But I don't know. So we're in a weird zone in Mushoku Tensei. We've arrived at this peaceful city, this Magic Academy, and the OP tells us the tale. It's the birds flying by and Rudius making decisions and thinking things through. Where's our action, combat, conflict stuff? Where's our travel, adventure, journey stuff? We've got pillars of play, 3 pillars of play: combat, social interaction, exploration. Okay, those are your 3 pillars of Dungeons and Dragons play. Right, there isn't a 4th one, right? Am I forgetting one? Pillars of D&D play. Yeah, social interaction, combat, and exploration. That is easy as a paradigm to just shift over to any story. It's really great to have social interaction, characters interacting with each other, combat, something exciting and actiony. Doesn't even have to be combat, it can be cards. Karuta is very exciting in Chiayafaru. Mahjong is very exciting in Akagi. It doesn't matter what it is, it's the combat. And then exploration, seeing new things. Mushoku Tensei is goddamn smacking it up on exploration. Like, woo! Yow! It nails its combat, too, pretty well, most of the time. Social interaction is now the one that's most easy to accomplish. Because we're at a school, it's a social environment. Exploration is pretty easy to accomplish, too. You can explore the library and the school. As we know, school grounds can be deep and intensive and interesting, and you can find out a lot of information that way. You're also sort of exploring as you meet new people. I know that's social interaction, but it's still a form of exploration. It's novelty. And then combat. Where are we going to find combat in this city? Maybe we're not. But I don't know. So that's sort of where I'm thinking is like, we're in a social interaction portion of the game, and the other pillars might rear their ugly heads soon, combat and exploration and stuff, but the social stuff is where we're at. And that's good, because show nails social stuff, and the character is built to have problems with social stuff, so here we go. Let's see how Rudy handles his first year at magic school, or year 2 if we time skip or whatnot. Are Fitz and Rudius gonna find out each other's identities and make out? I don't know. Let's find. Is Alina Lise here for a specific purpose, like trying to get rid of her curse, for example? Maybe. I don't know. Let's go ahead and watch Mushoku Tensei episode 6, season 2, episode 6, and I guess we'll find out the answers to all or some of our questions. Join me as we go into the next episode. If you see this episode coming up on the YouTube, that means that I'm probably currently, at this very moment that you're hearing me say this, recording the next episode to post it on the Patreon. So if you want to get it within today, it'll be on the Patreon for $1, linked in the description. That's it. There will be 2 versions. We're Mop Bob, episode 6. Let's watch it. 2 versions, picture in the description, timer on YouTube, a beep beep timer to count you down. Let's groove. Morning exercisations? Yep. That's what I expected. Nobody else is out training in the morning, huh? Oh, interdasting. Was she not wearing her glasses during that? Oh. Hmm. I wonder who that was supposed to be. Yeah, that's Karaage, dude. Or is it not? Is it a croquet? That looks really good. Mm. What? Oh my god. Poor guy. He's gonna need new pants. Poor guy's gonna need new pants. I see a Minotaur. Cool. This is all pretty expected. The day by day continue. Teleportation magic is taboo completely? In all ways? Yeah, have you cracked it yet? I hope so. Hmm. His pee. Took me a second there, because he was holding up like a figurine of an old fighter. Hmm. My unfettered shogun of the night? What a line. Rudy, come on, man. You can name your arms. You can name your pecs. You can't call your penis the unfettered shogun of the night. God King Excalibur the fifth. Like, fuck off, man. Unchained beast of grand breaking. Mjolnir, hammer of Thor. Actually, that's a good penis name. If you were named Thor, what else are you gonna do? If you're named Odin, what is his spear's name? Shit. Kadingir. No. Oh god. Oh no. Gungnir. Oh god. Symphalgir. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Kadingir. And awaken. Feather, feather. Alright. Fitsu-sama. You what? How? Were you switching seats? Were you sitting there and then... That's so funny. But you don't have to look for it because and we show the little wand. Hey, poor. Hey. These shots are great. Aw, no, of course I'd like your help. Any help good. Help good. Oh. Touching Rudius. Oh. Oh. Wait, I'm not gay. Sorry. Man, why did I get a weird feeling? No. Maybe this is the way that my unfettered Shogun of the Night gets fixed. The truth is, the whole time I didn't know myself at all. A lot. Red eyes, right? Lives with Ariel. Aha, weird, isn't it? Should have figured it out during the panties experience. No, why would it cause problems? Oh. Mm-hmm. Like not... Oh, yeah, silent fits. No, I wasn't allowed to talk for like a year. I wasn't allowed to talk for like a year. Ooh, that's pretty. Hey, all the art and backgrounds have been good this episode. Just a little snap, too, to mention this. All the art and backgrounds have been solid. They've been, like, solid. Hey, 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 hey. Yeah. Oh, and we're on 2 paths and she's on the higher path this time? Aww! Yeah, that would be really tough. Yeah, that would be kind of hard. He's dead. Don't worry about it. It's just hard. Look in the reflection of the water. Oh, leaves like their early days. I'm positive. What the fuck? Shogun of the Night, why? Why do you stir? Uh-huh, uh-huh. Now look at that again! These are great. It all makes perfect sense. Yeah, maybe not the way that you expect. Oh. Every day. Both. Both. Oh no. Whoa. Hey. Clothes on. Well, you can literally see where he's come. No. Can't keep putting it off, man. Oh, so happy. God, this is gonna go strangely. Does he not have any magic? He said he was practicing his earth magic all the time. Oh. Was he just trying to cast without incantation? Oh, just carve them with a chisel. Oh, make him clay. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, but oh, he doesn't have mana. That's right. We'll see. I hope. Oh. No skill. Oh, that actually makes sense. Dude, chainsaw carvings. Chainsaw carvings. Get a giant brick, have him cut through rock. Just let him tear at a rock with his little hands. Hey. Yeah, that kind of imagination control. Oh, you're so special. You're so special. Bigger block. More clay. Uh. Uh. Who are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Oh, the little girl. That's what we're gonna do here. Wow, that's so weird that we can say a good slave in context straight-facedly without fucking around here. Oh, you're about to get asked out. To go to the slave market on a date? Let's go to a date. Yeah! Slave date. Let's go buy a human. Or a humanoid. Let's go buy a fucking human. Woo! Yeah, girl, nothing gets me in the mood like buying humans. Oh, no. Oh, she's so happy about it, too. Oh, boy. So, sit. Good boy. Oh, it might be from the slave. She'll say Shinitakunai. That's my expectation now. Fuck. Yeah, chill out. We don't need to be so formal. Ah, little flowers on the ground. I really like that as a continuous through line throughout the show. Little flowers on the ground, camera moving up. It's great. The hanging things. Ooh, slave chains. Here we go. He'd be familiar with this. Yeah! I come from a world where this doesn't really exist. Well, that's not true. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. That's like Ghislaine. Ah. I'm unfazed. Gross. Is it? How do you know? Oh, like you did. Yeah, but it ain't true. Hey, that's a really familiar case. Yeah, and Sylphie too. Wait, Gah. Got any kids to buy, Mr. Merchant? I hate all of this, but it's being done so well. Well, there we go. Whoa. Why haven't you been? Rudy? Alright, let's do it. She can't speak human, though. None of them speak dwarf, I think. Oh, man, yeah. This is the harder side. Yeah, man. Yeah. Thought so. How will we communicate? Oh, he knows the language. Nope. Do not threaten her. Yeah, she's ready to block. Yeah, in the mirror. There's no path. Why would I go anywhere? Wow. And he's offering to kill her right now. But she has to choose to want to live. Nope. Just another torment, right? Just another torture. Amazing. Hasn't spoken in a year, probably. Say it. A little bit of fire in her eyes. And we'll take her. Ooh. I like that differentiation. We don't normally do that. That's good enough. Yep. That'll lead to eating. Oh. You over there. Oh, they do childs of. Oh. Ah. Nope. Don't ask Zanaba. Ah, Huddy McBabe. What? What the fuck? That's terrifying. Maybe make sure that she can physically say it. Maybe Julie then. Julie's good. Simpler. Okay, let's. Does that seem. Okay, fine. Fine. Yep, fine. Good. Becoming a human. And now we have another Protectable who can be threatened. Good. Oh, was that it? Is that the ep? That was the ep. Straightforward. We're doing the building. We're doing the building. A little bit of exploration. Seeing the slave market is definitely exploration, and it's gonna build to later. It actually builds off of what we've already seen with the thieves and the slavers and stuff for the Doldias and all that stuff. We've seen some of it already, but this was front and center in a way that we haven't done before. Pretty cool. I think a solid depiction of such a thing. There's no indictment of it. That's what's really interesting to me. There isn't any indictment of it, except from like the perspective of Rudy as a human being being like, "Whoa, this is something," but he can't do anything about it, and he knows it, and that's correct. That's really crazy. And it doesn't try to have its cake and eat it too, and be like, slavery bad, but our characters are going to engage in it anyway and they're actually heroes because they're doing so and whatnot. This isn't Raftalia, which does try to have its cake and eat it too in Shield Hero. I think because we link it to Rudy's own desperate circumstance, his own despair, it makes it much more compelling to do that. I like that. The kidnapping and confinement of beast girls sounds like the title of a porno. And it might be. It might be. Somebody might. I mean, I would imagine that that's going to be our Doldia friend. That would be my guess. And then that answers my question from the beginning, which is from whence come our threats or odd occurrences? Perhaps something related to just what we just saw, what we just experienced. Just because you're in a school uniform doesn't mean you're not a a valuable commodity. Oh boy, okay, we'll talk about slavery in a bit. Not many of my discussions start with, we'll talk about slavery. We'll talk about slavery in a bit. Hey, this episode was good. Actually, this episode visually is a step up. Actually, maybe previous episode was a step up, and this one just follows up with still being up that step. The lighting is good. The backgrounds are great. The characters fit the backgrounds. That whole fuzzy situation doesn't feel like it's happening. The character animation and character designs and characters walking around and talking to each other back and forth, it all flows well. It all seems to flow well. It all holds together. So somebody threw out a theory, which was that the first 3 episodes are all material that wasn't in the original web novel, but was added later in one of the later iterations that Rifujin did. And maybe that has to do with the nature of the elements of the thing. I don't know if that's true, but it seems like it fits, because we got better. It got better. Like, I don't know what Bind put in their morning coffee, but they seem to be getting to work. You know? They seem to have gotten back to work. Really looks good. These backgrounds look good. Sylphie looks good. All the figurines and stuff, all the locations and stuff look good. The food looks edible. It looks great. All these moments and things, they look good. Alina Lee's touching a dude's crotch and the fountain comes up. That's a funny joke. That's a really funny joke. That's a really funny joke. So we do some of what I expected, which is we sort of skim through a bunch of the stuff that's just like, I'm in school, I go to classes, I do all these things, I have a general schedule, and all of that sets our foundations for the unique and interesting things that are going on, which are the growing intrigue with Fitz, the research into the teleportation, the work with Zanaba, and eventually going to the slave market and purchasing Julie. Fucking perfect. Really good, concise 20-minute episode. We don't try to accomplish too much in this one. We're here. We're floating. We're getting inundated with the sequence and the scene and the feel and the atmosphere, letting it soak in, letting the feel of these walls and these worlds and these libraries and this town and these characters all fit in and all fill you in. It's one of the things that Mushoku has done really well from the beginning, is that the atmospheric landscapes and traveling moments and moments of care and thought and quiet really glue it all together and make you feel like you're there. As the background fidelity and the fidelity of the characters has gone back up, that has reemerged. Not just, I'm in a tavern in a room somewhere stuck, which is where we were for a couple of days, or a couple of weeks, a couple of episodes, a couple of years. But now I'm in an interesting place and there are things going on and there's a world out there. Yeah. And a part of that is that that's literally how Rudy's perspective has changed. He was stuck, isolated, and introverted and focused inward. And then he turns and looks outward and it starts getting better. The world starts to appear to him as he goes outside his door. It's so fascinating how that happens. I'm going to throw an anecdote at you. It's a dumb anecdote. I actually really need a shower right now. I'm glad that we haven't invented smell-o-vision, because I'm sure that you could smell me. I need a shower right now, and that's because I spent a bit of last night and some of this morning working on a BMX bike. I had been looking to purchase a bike, inexpensively used bike, just to tootle around town. And a couple days ago, I decided to just go on a walk at night. I didn't feel like I could sleep, wanted to go on a walk, move my legs, and get a mild bit of exercise, but also just enjoy and walk around the neighborhood while it's quiet. Started to go for a walk, got 4.5 houses down. There's a dumpster sitting out front of the house. Sitting next to the dumpster is a rusty bike. Go up, check the brakes kind of work. Check the chain kind of works. Okay, take the bike home. Put a new tube in it, cost me $6 to fix one of the flat tires, oiled up one of the chains, or oiled up the chain, took some of the parts apart, put some of the parts back together, fiddled with it a little bit over the course of a couple of hours, and it's good to go. Rode it around last night, all around my neighborhood for a while. It works great. I've got it listed up on Craigslist for like $60, which I'll take if I can get it and use to purchase a better bike. But I was in my room looking for bikes and stuff for like a week with no idea that the world outside existed. It's so silly. It's so weird how the world sometimes works like this. And then all I did was step outside my door. No intention of seeking something or finding it. And I found essentially exactly the thing that I was looking for, just sitting there for free, waiting for me. And if I had never stepped out of my door, I never would have found it. In fact, it would have been picked up today. It would be going to a landfill right now. Today's trash day. It would be going to a landfill right now. And I wouldn't have a bike. And maybe the bike will turn into $40 or $60 in a little bit if somebody decides to buy it. That's like, I don't know exactly what I'm getting at here, but I think there's a through line. Okay, so Rudy's stuck in his isolated world all the time. And when you're in that stuck in an isolated world all the time, it's really hard to see anything else. In fact, it's kind of impossible. There isn't anything else. You've got walls around you. The world doesn't exist. And while you inside your head might consciously know, I live on a enormous planet filled with billions of people, your like body, your like real like unconscious self believes that you live in a 10 by 10 room with nobody around and your life is over. You're in a cage, right? The world has not opened up to you. It's just all closed off. You step outside and suddenly it opens up to you. Not just you'll find a bike, right? But the literal act of stepping outside into the world where there's no ceiling above you, where there are no walls around you, changes your thought processes. Actually, that's the high ceilings effect, or the cathedral effect. That's what it's called. Cathedral effect. Environments have different impacts. Principle was first named by Edward T. Hall in the 1960s. Small chapels make people feel hemmed in, while awe-inspiring cathedrals project freedom and openness of the heavens and cosmos. And the thinking is that we are intuitively altered by our environments. So if you are in a restricted space with low ceilings, you will feel confined, focused, isolated, straightforward, and be directed, but also not creative, thoughtful, like thinking about things outside of you, literally thinking outside the box, because you're literally inside a box. If you feel like you're in a pit or in a box, you literally might be. Many millions of humans spend all day, every day inside one box, and then they get out of that box, walk 3 feet out to their other box with wheels on it, get inside that box for a while, stay inside that 4,000-pound isolated box, drive it to their other box where somebody pays them to sit in the box for a while. They sit in the box for 8 hours, and then they leave and go back to their previous home box, and they stay in 3 boxes all their life. Maybe 4. You know? And then you go out to a pub and you're in a different box. You're in a box. Step outside the box and then look up. There might be interesting things out there. And the interesting thing might be you. You might find yourself out there because you don't exist inside a box. You're a human being. You're not built to sit in a box. You're built to be fucking jumping and climbing mountains and running around and swimming and inventing rockets and fucking other people. Like, come on. None of that is going to be happening inside your box. Get out the box. Get out the box, Ace. Get out the car, Ace. It's one of my favorite A$AP rock songs. Get out the car. Knowing ain't half the battle. That's a bullshit quip written by some asshole. You can own what you are and still sit around stoned in your car, not doing shit, halfway to nil, cranky and waiting for a boss key and a hat full of bills. Get out the car, Ace. Knowing ain't half the battle. That's a bullshit quip written by some asshole. Get out the car. Get out the box. All right. So there's my tangential aside. Maybe you'll find a bike. Studying. All the books look good. All the figures look good. Everything looks good. The OP's still great. Can't complain about the OP at all. Oh, they're so cute. All the interactions in this sequence are really great, and also the shot composition and movement between them is really great. And the little like as she like scratches her ear and does little physical movements and all this stuff. They're all evocative. They all indicate character. They all indicate thought processes and emotions and awkwardness and weirdness. Or the little sequence where she tried to like subtly offers a thing that he could ask her out to, and then he realizes it and takes her up on it. Ah, I am still calling Fitz Sylphie her because she's Sylphie, right? The 2 separate instances where we really are talking about Rudius and he doesn't know. It's like, yeah, I never had a chance to go looking for him. Or the one where she's like, yes, my master was quite like that. Or yes, that guy was quite missing. And he goes, it'd be great to meet him. That's not gonna happen. Woo! It's lovely. And the little handshake, aw. And then he gets the Wibblies as well. Wait, why do we have the Wibblies? That's a boy. Hey, man, sometimes you gotta experiment, find out. Sometimes you gotta find out. Weird. Look, it's pretty. Hey, look, it's pretty. Hey, look, it's pretty. The show is pretty again. Yay. It's so good. Okay, the Fitz facade is starting to fall apart. So you live in the girls' dorm? So you have all these things going on? Huh, and you're pretty girly. Huh, weird. Interesting. How are we gonna I don't know if we're ever gonna find out. I don't know. I really like this location. God, there's so many reads that you can do on this, right? He is her bridge over troubled waters. Done, right? While she has a clear and direct, like arc of a path, his is stumbling and stepping, right? She ends up on the high road and he ends up below, right? Oh my God, it's good. Oh, it's so good. And you don't have to read any of those. It's just a path, right? It's just a path. But of course, it's not just a path. Look at that shit. That's a frame. That's like we're on the front of the Titanic doing a thing, you know? This is the thing. This is a moment. As she reminisces about past Rudius while speaking to present Rudius, and he has no idea what's going on. Lovely. I think it's great. I'd love to meet him. Nope. We do this little twiddly wibble. Oh, it's so cute. Why does my Doki make the Doki? I'm sure I don't run that way. And figure sculpting. Zanaba's a pervert. Gotta find you some help. He's terrible at everything. No mana, which I think we knew, and too strong, which we didn't know. But our answer is to get him a slave to command. Yoinks. Jinkies. His modeling Rudy is awesome. His actual, meticulousness and ability to do tiny stuff with his magic is unmatched, as far as I know. Well, they get a slave to do it. I wonder what she was talking about. They wanted to do something, but lacked the talent and skill. Similar case in the Asuran capital. They wanted to do something, but lacked the talent and skill, so they got a slave to do it. Is she talking about the assassin? I think she might be talking about the assassin. I don't know what she's talking about. Great, I hope you find a good slave. Also, now that you mention it, twiddle twiddle, weird. So nerve-wracking, little blushies. It's so cute. It's so high school. Okay, and we do it, and it would be lovely. Kicking Solomon to his knees is really good. I really like their dynamic. I like that dynamic of this guy's very highfalutin, but then he'll take the knee if he needs to. Very good. And very casually, and this is my take. Very casually, with no thoughts to the contrary, we go to the slave market as though it is a normal thing in our society. Because it is. As shocking and horrifying as this might be to modern sensibilities, for thousands of years in human civilizations, this was the norm. And in many places in the world, it still is. You can go buy children if you want. And if that feels wrong to you, that's because you have a conscience. It's wrong. Duh. So, let's be straightforward. Out of world, slavery's bad. Why? Let's actually say that. Everybody says slavery's bad. Nobody ever says why. It's fucked. People do this with all sorts of things. Nobody likes to delve into the actual philosophy behind why things are ethical or not. Why is slavery bad? You can come up with a dozen different paradigms. I'm just going to give you one. Sentient beings have worth. They have worth to the extent that they can, in Peter Singer's estimation, and I don't agree with everything that Singer says, that they can experience suffering. But I'll take his presumption as fair and factual. I think it is. That suffering is usually indicative of the equivalent ability to experience pleasure, but not always. The ability to experience suffering is all that really matters, because we can boil things down fundamentally to suffering. Will, or choice, or self-determination in many senses is the ability to choose how you suffer. You're gonna suffer, you're gonna hurt in this world, you get to choose how. It's very valuable. Slavery is taking that away from you. that's taking away a lot of value and inherently causing suffering by removing your free will itself. That's my argument for why slavery is bad. It's bad. It's bad because you actually rob a human being of something that is intrinsically theirs. It's theft, and it's the cause of suffering. And there are a bunch of more arguments that you can make if you want to. I think slavery is bad. I don't see any justification for it, really. You can make a sociopolitical justification for it and be like, well, the population won't work otherwise. And look at all these great works that we can make, pyramids. But you can also do those if you fucking pay people. I mean, I'm against wage labor. So fuck, slavery is way off base, right? Humans deserve the ability to determine what is done with the products of their existence. Whether that's work or effort or creations or just being or being sexually desirable, like whatever it is about you that is existence and has worth, you should be able to determine where it goes and where it flows, how you apply it. If you're a brilliant genius, mathematician in your head, nobody should be able to tell you are required to be a janitor. And nobody should be able to tell you that you're required to be an astronaut because you're ideal for the job. We're not in Brave New World. Like, it doesn't work that way. We don't fit people like that. You as an individual should have self-determination, I think. And I live in, luckily, a freedom-oriented, nominally democratic society that is founded on the rights of the individual, and that's very, very potent. There are other modern societies that are not founded on the rights of the individual, but instead on the rights of the collective and the importance of the collective, at least to some extent. China stands as a strong example and an interesting example because their system works to some extent. They've found a weird balance of sort of self-determination on the financial side and or on the economic side, but not really, and more determined well established paths, and it seems to be working. All of those things to say, big in favor of individualism, not in favor of slavery. Okay, set. The show doesn't try to take a stance too hard about that, does it? It treats it as though it's just something that exists in this world, that is. And while Rudy makes a couple of faces at the experience, and at the moment, he doesn't move to do anything. Is that right? Is that good? Do you think that a character would have to somehow, like, I hate to use this word because it's been so brutalized, signal their virtue insofar as they dislike slavery? Because I've seen a lot of shows do this sort of there is slavery in the world thing, and you're a character from elsewhere. It happens in isekais quite a bit, because I think authors recognize that in, like, the time period that their isekai setting is written, people would have had slaves. It also fits really well when there are material power differences between people. Some people have magic and others don't. I think a lot of shows in this circumstance, when they come across or a lot of authors, when they come across a concept or a subject like this, feel like they really need to make sure that their character does the thing that makes them fall or seem to the audience to be on the side of right. And it is virtue signaling. It is saying, hey, come look at my character. They're a good boy. And I like good boys. I like good characters. Great. But it's much more interesting to me to have a character who's willing to engage with the slave trade despite having some moral reservations about it, simply because it's so normalized in that society. And it raises a question that you're not going to like, but that I'm going to throw at you. So I want you to think about it a little bit. You, just like me, are probably against slavery. But if you were a wealthy citizen in Rome, would you be? Or would you think it was your right to own slaves, and indeed proper to own slaves, and perhaps a boon to those slaves to own them as slaves? How else would they feed and clothe and house themselves, after all? They benefit and you benefit. There's too much population to be all citizens, isn't there? You wouldn't even have those arguments. It would be so normal to you. It would be so normal to you. It would be like getting an Uber to go somewhere. It would be like going and buying a slave to take care of something around your house. Be the same degree of weird, which is to say not weird at all. So in the same way that it's really powerful to try to put yourself in as a citizen of Nazifying Germany and to observe yourself and to say, would I really stand against the ideological thrust of the Reich? Would I really? Or would I be caught up in it and be a camp guard at Auschwitz within a couple of months? Because the answer is probably the latter. And the same goes for trading in slavery. Would I really, if I had grown up in a society that normalized it, would I really have moral qualms about slavery? Or would I go to the slave market to get me a fuck toy? Because I think it's the latter for most of you. And for me. And that scares the shit out of me, right? Scares the shit out of me because it indicates that so much of our norms are just that. They're norms. They're socially instilled. And it worries me that we tear them down so easily because they seem really important. But nobody's trying to bring back the slave trade in a big way, at least, I think. Well, we are moving toward hyper-corporatization and company towns, which are pretty close. So, once you start having to purchase Amazon-owned Amazon goods from your Amazon store at your Amazon house in your Amazon car with your Amazon coins, you might be close. You might be a little bit close. But nobody's really trying to bring back direct human ownership of other humans, as far as I know. Except via debt and the banking system and, landowner. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting too radical here. What shall we do? Well, I've never done this before, so let's take a look around. And we do so. And we look around. I mean, one thing catches your attention for sure. This is funny, I think. It's a bit of a goof. Sylphie stands in front of a big dong and goes, wow. Once you add the experience little thing. Ooh. Thank you, Zanaba, for interrupting. Talk about you should pick a child. All this indicates the stuff that she's Sylvie and has been trained early, and it answers some of our questions from earlier. We meet the slave trader, and I want to mention something else here. This scene, in probably a dozen shows that I've seen, this scene where you meet the slave trader is a monster. He's like a grimy girl, right? He's a bad guy. Guy doesn't seem like a bad guy. He seems like a merchant, right? Because this is a upstanding business, right? We're not in a dark back alley, like, doing an illegal trade here. This is front and center. They've got a fucking wood board outside with chains on it. He's allowed to do this. He's happy. He's wealthy. He's walking around in sandals and fine robes, nice beard, all these books of owned populations. Much more accurate, right? Grimy, monstrous scumbag? Maybe, but not on the outside. Not on the outside, looks can be deceiving. You meet him in any other context, you just think, what a kind old man. That's cool. That's correct. That's much more interesting, isn't it? When you see, when you see people who are evil, who are monstrous, they don't often look like it. They look like people. But in visual arts, we depict them as evil and monstrous. That does have two effects that I think are bad. One is it makes you think that you're going to know when you meet somebody who's evil, right? You meet a serial killer, you'll know it, right? No, you're going to be charmed by Ted Bundy. The likelihood that you meet Ted Bundy and don't follow him to his car and get murdered is pretty low. That's how good he is at manipulating people. That's how charming and handsome and friendly and nice he is. He doesn't come at you with a fucking axe, right? He's not a grimy, like, sweaty, dirty scumbag coming at you with a glass bottle. He's a nice dude in a button-down shirt, ready to talk and chat, hanging out. The second thing that it does that I think is really bad is that it makes us treat ugly people as though they're monsters, and it's just not true, usually. just as the pretty people aren't always good, the ugly people aren't often bad. So that's one of the problems that we have with depictions of ugliness as evil. There's actually a lot of academic work put into that idea in animation and in film and in Hollywood casting and all that stuff. Yeah. Some of the lines that come out of Rudius's mouth during this whole sequence are really, really rough to hear. And we don't really care what race it is, as long as it's dexterous, right? Like, I'm putting the "it's" in there, but essentially, I don't really care what the sword is made of as long as it cuts, right? It's an object. It's an object, and Rudy's already in it immediately. No qualms. We need one. The most important thing is we need a young one. Hey, you got any kids? Oh, hey, we do have a 6-year-old dwarf. We all nod. And this, right? This is crazy. She's not in the best health. Malnutrition, it says here. Well, feeding her will fix that. It's like, you need a thing that you could be fixing by treating your fucking wares well, right? No. Why would I treat her well? She's not gonna sell. Food costs. It's all just implied, right? And I love the line, she can't read, but what 6-year-old can? Rudy. Rudy and Sylphie eventually. I like this location. I like this angle that we choose that's way off kilter for it, this very Dutch sequence. It feels very trapped and rough. The quiet of this room really got me. There's no sobbing or crying or any of these being crazy or gnashing their teeth or throwing themselves against the bars. There's nothing. They've all pretty much given up. And as we walk by, Rudy turns and he sees the same thing. They don't look up at him. He looks a little bit ashamed. Here she is. And we get our bit of cruelty, right? Which belies his appearance. He rips her out of the cage. Wears like a sword out of a drawer. It doesn't care. You're an object. We hold away from showing her face. Rib. Legs. Bits, and then face, right? And that helps us see the pain and helps us identify with the character physically. I mentioned this somewhere else. I don't know if it was in Mushoku. When I went to see an autopsy, this was in high school, and we were warned beforehand, you're probably going to be fine with all the blood and guts, but if you see a hand or a foot, it's probably going to freak you out. Because they're the parts of us that we see and that we identify as person, and so we mirror neuron into them. When I look at a hand and I see it moving, I feel my hand moving, and you do too. When you look at my hand and I'm doing this, you can feel that. It's weird, but you can feel that. Or if I do this, you can feel that. Yeah. Okay, that's your mirror neurons firing. You can't help it. If I do that in front of a chimpanzee and you put a brain scanner on the portion of their brain that lights up their hand, it lights up when I do this in front of a chimp. Okay? Mirror neurons. They're built in. Can't help it. When you see little legs dragging on the floor, a little arm squeezed and squished and yanked, and little hands distraught dropped on the ground, you feel all those things before you know the character, before you have someone else to externalize to, before you can take all those feelings and say, those are hers. No, they're not hers right now. They're yours until you see her face. And because they're yours, you pre-empathize with her. You feel her being before you see her, before you know her. And then when you know her, you already know her. Brilliant. Simple. Super simple. But it wouldn't work as well if we came in and we just saw big, doughy eyes, right? It wouldn't work as well. It would work differently. We'd have this compassion, care for the creature because we have the auto-cute thing that goes on. That's a child, must protect it. It's like a puppy, etc., etc. But this way we get pain first, and that's more like it. That's more like it. Pain first. Human later. Then we turn to the eyes. She coughs. We get a little bit of healing in, enough to lighten her load a little bit. Can't exactly recommend her. And it's Rudy's turn. So he goes, he speaks, and when she doesn't respond, he goes for something at his side, I think a club or something, right? Or maybe just to backhand her, I'm not sure. but he reaches up to stop him. No. No. What's going on? Of course Rudy knows. Setsubo. The darkness. The no way out. He's been there. She's there. I've been there too. Was there pretty recently. I held on to belief in that. I held on to belief, and I continued doing the things that I needed to do, the necessaries, as much as I could, as well as I could. And as that became more consistent, I came out of it. Just as Rudy says in this episode that he begins to establish a routine, just as he establishes in the previous cities and finds a modicum of at least consistency in doing so, I've been focused on just the day by day, just accomplishing the small tasks, just doing the little things. It's been great. And it's been hard. And throughout it's been really painful and really difficult. But it is possible to get out of the pit. And so, once again, one of the strongest things that Mushoku Tensei has to offer is compassion and empathy from a place of experience. Rudius Grey Rat, as Earthius, and as himself, has experienced great darkness, true despair, emptiness with no way out. And so when he meets characters who are in the same place, he can reach out to them, whether it's Orsted at the top of the world or Julie at the bottom of the pit. He can communicate with those who are suffering. And in doing so, he communicates to us, because a lot of us are suffering, aren't we? So to those of you who are suffering, I say, I believe that you can get out. I can. I went back in and I got back out. Not only have I done it, but I've done it again. Again. Not all the way out yet, but I'm on the way. Again. And I'll be back in it again. You know, it doesn't end. It doesn't end. It's not like you get out of the pit and suddenly you're home free. Now you just have more potential energy to fall. You're just up higher. Which is great for a while. But it will fall apart. The world is not flat enough to let you go without dips and valleys. But I say to you that I think you can do it. And I don't think that it's going to happen in a moment's revelation of like, oh, the world is good! Whoa! Unless you take a psychedelic, that might do that for you. That actually might do that for you. Otherwise, probably not going to happen that way. But how about over a year of slow grinding? If you were to choose a direction and pick something that you could do every day that would get you closer to that direction, like draw a picture or write a word, in a year, man, you're going to be somewhere else. If you do it consistently, you're going to be somewhere so different. And one of the things that'll be different is you'll be able to look back at that year and go, hey, I did that thing for a year. Hey, that's pretty good. You know, or a week, right? Once a week. I worked out one time a week, 52 times this year. You're going to be a different person at the end of the year. 5 push-ups a day, you're going to be a different person at the end of the year. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. 1 interesting podcast a week. Different person. Different person. And it doesn't matter what you choose. I don't give a shit what it is. I don't care. Choose something. Try to do it consistently. Do it even though you think it's worthless and stupid and you hate it. It fucking sucks. God, just want to despair and die in the pit. Go for a walk. Maybe you'll find a bicycle. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll get hit by a car. Who cares? Maybe you'll find a bike. Maybe you'll find yourself. Maybe you'll find a way out of the pit. Because I'll tell you, it's hard to feel like you're in a box when you can look up and see the Milky Way above you. You go, all right, I'm in a universe with galaxies. Oh, 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 yeah, okay. The hopeless look of someone who longs for death. You know this, master? He says, often a long time ago, and Zana, they both turn away. Now they're ashamed or embarrassed. Look in her eyes, take me back. They look like mine. I wanted to give up on everything. Do you want to die? And it's not just a question, it's an offer. In a hole with no way out, I understand. And it's that understanding that lets him connect. If you like, I can get you off here. I can't save you. And that's his perspective. I could take you out of here and give you a job and make your life shiny, and you could still want to kill yourself. And he knows that all too well, doesn't he? I've been through enough to know that that wouldn't be salvation. So, in his actions, Rudius aligns with that self-determination. Your choice, kid. So while she's enslaved, she chooses to come with us, at least. This does not justify the slavery. I might as well. Please say something. And she says nothing and looks away until he walks away. And then there it is. All right, then. That's all you can hope for. And for the first time that I've ever seen this accurately delineated, or like specifically specified, you don't have to want to live. Sometimes positivity isn't a great motivator. We are more risk averse than we are reward forward, reward attracted. If you have $100 in stocks and you gain $10, that's all right. If you have $100 in stocks and you lose $10, oh god, I lost 10%. The world is ending. Same marginal gain or loss, but we treat them differently. I want to live is an affirmation. It's like, there's something worth living for. I don't want to die is a... it comes out of fear. It's not an affirmation, it's a negation. Death would be bad. There might not be anything good, but if I got rid of all the chance for it, that would be bad. I'd be losing everything. I don't want to die. So maybe my stocks are down to 90, right? And I'm all miserable and stuff, but dying means none. So maybe I'll stay in the market and see, maybe things will turn back up. You know? A lot of shows come to the Shinitaku Nai moment, especially mecha shows, because there's always this format of like the kid doesn't want to get in the robot. I mean, Shinji doesn't want to get in the robot, gets in the robot. The reason that they end up eventually getting the robot is I don't want to die, or I don't want my friends to die, or whatever. It depends on the story. But it's always just that. It's almost never separated from the desire to live, and I think it's a really good separation. The carrot only does so much, right? It's like, oh yay, a juicy carrot. God, you ever been depressed enough that you're not hungry at all? Or sad enough that you're not hungry at all? That sort of feeling. That's the reward, right? It doesn't do anything for you. I don't care. I just want to sit here and curl up and I don't care, right? But somebody puts a gun to your head, you might start moving. Eat the carrot, bitch. Eat it. Okay, all right. God, I don't want to die. No, I don't want to eat a carrot and live, but I don't want to die. The two things seem so different, even though they're exactly the same. How do you get from one to the other? We'll see as we move along. That's the journey that Rudy is on right now, right? Rudy, for the last year, maybe, has been in I don't want to die. That's for sure. This living thing isn't great. It's not great. How do we get from there to life is great? And I've got the same question for myself. If you were here for season 1 of Mushoku, you know me as being as good right at the end. And I'm into that, but I'm not aligned with it. I believe it, but it's more of an act of faith than one of, like, inherent, obvious belief. It's not immediately out of me. So I like this distinction. And because we can name it, we have power over it. Because we can name the distinction, we can say, if you're at 1, I don't want to die, but this living thing isn't great. Maybe you could get to the other. It doesn't have to be that yet. As long as it's the 1, there's a path from there to the other, okay? So if we can get from despair pit, hell, chaos, death, no hope, right? Get from there to don't want to die, then there's a path from don't want to die to life is good, I want to live. And so we've charted a path. And that path goes from the deepest, darkest despair to the brightest, highest mountain. You don't need to chart the path going back the other direction. That's easy. That'll happen on its own. You will fall back into the pit. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Because there's a way out. There's a way out. There's a path. Me gusta. Me likey. I don't want to die is good enough for now. So we meet our character. We name our character. And Julie, or Julius, she shall be. And she's very cute. And she's running around. And that's our episode. And that's it. And that's it. Simple as could be, but also steeped with really interesting world subtlety stuff. Last episode was pretty good. This episode feels like we're back, baby. It feels like we're back, baby. It really does. Once we bring in the other tiers, the other pillars of play, a little bit more exploration, a little bit more combat, everything works here. Everything works here. The art fidelity is there. The characterization is there. The writing is here. It feels so much smoother. It feels so much smoother, and I'm so damned happy. Yeah! Yay! Yay! Okay, that's a wrap. Next week's episode on the Patreon. Check it out, and I'll catch you next week for more Mushoku Tensei. I think we wrap here. This is so wonderful. We've got a child. All right, great. And next episode's title is The Kidnapping and Confinement of Beast Girls, which might be related. We'll see. I'll see you there for the next one. Much looking forward to it. I believe truly that being can be good, even if it's not right now. Despite everything. Mushoku Tensei and Rifujinman Maganote seems to believe it too. And I think he's right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.